And his food is not because he's my son, but he's one of the best cooks I know. He might have me a little bit, I guess, you know, but he's a good cook. He's a real good cook, and he's doing well, and I'm so proud of him because friends, family, anybody, he'll help anybody. Kevin is good, and I'll text him and tell him how much I love him and how proud of him I am, and I am, and I just sit back and watch him work, and he'll help anybody, and that's just goodness. And now he's ready to try to embark on the next a sit-in, and I think that would be really good because his food is worth waiting for, but I would just love to be able to just sit in his brick and mortar and yes, thoroughly. Because that Salmon Club is off the, what you people say, you young people, off the chain. I see Kevin in probably not even 5 years, in the next year or so, with his own establishment, his own sit-down restaurant. And I know it's gonna be a wang dang doodle when it happens, because he's a good cook. And he's my son, and I love him. And I knew he was gonna do something special, because he's just that kind of person. And if he puts his mind to it and he says he's gonna do it, I believe it. You gotta put God first, and after that, it'll work for you.
Nah, my nigga, this is dedication. This is anti-hesitation. This a real nigga celebration.
Okay, in 2010, me and Kevin, we met at La Cole Culinary. At that point, I was just building my food truck, a square meal. So Kevin just happened to see it, and he was telling me about this is something that he was getting ready to do. Now keep this in mind, when you're in school, everybody hungry, everybody got an idea of what they want to do. So at this time, I had pretty much had a truck, and it was coming forward. So a lot of people was coming up to me and said, "Man, I'm gonna give me a truck. This is what I'm gonna do." And Kevin came to me and said, "I'm gonna give me a truck. That's what I'm gonna do." So just like any and everybody else, I ain't think nothing of it. And then every now and then, me and Kevin will walk past each other in hallways, and then we'll get to talking not only about the truck, but we'll talk about different things and different ideas, and we'll just bouncing them off each other. And that's when I started taking notice of them. From that point, after graduation, I started food trucking, really food trucking. The next thing I know, a Lick the Plate came out of nowhere. I'm talking about he called me and said, "Hey, I got me a bread truck. I found the bread truck. I'm finna fix this little truck up." So, at this time, I'm thinking I'm one of the biggest dogs out there on the street. And then here come a Lick the Plate. I'm talking about looking good, food good and everything else. So when he popped up out the window, it's me, you know what I'm saying? I was really surprised at him. And all the things, everything that he told me he was getting ready to do, it came to fruition, everything. So at this point now, we out here food trucking. So at this time, the idea of a brick and mortar came about. So he was telling me he was thinking about getting a brick and mortar, and I was in the process of doing the same. So we would still bounce ideas off each other and just talk. We'll find ourselves talking hours and hours just about how to make a different mayola, just so many things that we talked about. And after a while, next thing I know, he was telling me about Smackers. And Smackers, and he came up with this idea that it resembled a Snicker bar. And this Simon Club that he does. And that was his, that would have been his featured piece, the Simon Club. The signature dish was this Simon Club. And from Smackers, from a little space that he started off of Airways and Ketchum, I think it used to be Ice Cream Plus, a little Ice Cream Plus building. He went inside this little small space and turned it completely around. This area, he had built this whole area up right here off of Airways and Lamar, turned this whole area all the way around. Smackers with this Simon Club sandwich that did all this. So one thing that I have noticed about Kevin, he's a very determined person. If he say he gonna do it, he gonna do it. He gonna do it. And not only that, I'm saying when I know he knows food. You know, I think he's a foodie. Because one thing he does, we talk about different restaurants, who got this and what's good. So I really take what he tells me, I take it to heart. You know, I'm listening to what he's saying about different food. All the time on different food. But me and Kevin, we go way back, and I admire him for everything that he's done. He's a man of his word. His food is good. I don't want to sound biased because I take Kevin as my friend, you know, and I don't call a lot of people friend. One thing, he's a man of his word, you know, so real dependable and real trustworthy. I love Kevin, you know what I mean? So he's a good dude. That's just it, point blank.
To me, what stands out more about him is his character. I think Kevin has a warm spirit, and I noticed that the day I met him. He's a young dude, but his thoughts are very mature. And I'll give you a good example. I was getting ready to purchase a lawnmower, a riding lawnmower, 0 turn, and the thoughts that Kevin had, I had choices between a new one and a used one. And I think I was leaning towards the new one. But Kevin's logic, man, this lawnmower is good. You can look to see how it's built. You can repair it yourself. Those things really impressed me about Kevin. A stickler for detail, a stickler for detail. I've been knowing him a long time, and I listened to his logic. His logic makes sense. He's been a young man that's always looked after my son. He keeps me updated. Sometimes he's hard to get in contact with, but for the most part, Kevin does a good job of being in contact with me. I go back to, again, when I first met him, the things that he did then, the things he said, I could see that he wanted more out of life than life was giving him. He took advantage of situations, food truck, he got a food truck, and if you look at ordinary food trucks, you see that they are not built well, they are pulled by small vehicles, but he came and he got a big old Dodge truck, a big food truck, and he just pulled it, and he did well. He had it first class. You go inside and it's like he spent $1 million on the food truck, and it was well. Then he decided to open Smackers, and man, I went during the construction of Smackers to see the progression of it, the cameras, the details, the flooring, even the telephone work, the telephone wiring that he ran. He hid the wiring with conduit. He just was on point in taking care of his business. Kevin is a person with a very, very good spirit. And I love that about him, and he shows it in everything he does. Frankly, we need more people like Kevin. Kevin Jamerson is #1 in my book. Anything that I can ever do for him, all he had to do is call. And I don't feel that way about a lot of people, but I do respect him. You can tell when you talk to Kevin that he has a strong mother in his life, which parallels with me. You know, raised by a mother and a mama's boy, and he has good manners, good skills, communication skills, customer contact skills. Kevin is great. He's awesome. And from this day forward, I wish him the best, and I'm sure the best is going to be there. Because if you prepare yourself to be successful, you will be that.